Hello, my name is Benjamin Cowenberg, Benjamin Cowenberg in Dutch, and I have been creating consciousazine.net, used to be consciousazine.com, for like 8 years now. No, 7 years. And I don't think I can go much longer without saying this. I mean, I continually express to you guys that I don't like priori conclusion and concluding too early, basically, or without the correct information is a priori conclusion. Concluding before you even have the information, basically, that means. And I don't like to do these priori conclusions. So, I do scientific observation, which is really just a lot of pattern recognition for long periods of time on anything that I'm thinking about. And look, I really have to say this at this point, and I think it's really well timed because I had a few thoughts about it come this week, and it's been building. And so here we are, and what I want to discuss is, firstly, that my life is going to be like some kind of I don't know the word to describe it. My life's basically going to be some kind of patronage, something like that, to the idea of this quote, "Cherish the living more than you mourn the dead." And so how many people do you know who would love to talk to some of the great people? Like, you would love to talk to Nikola Tesla right now, wouldn't you? You'd just love to rack his brain. I bet you most of you would, right? I'd love to just sit down with him, I don't know, just chill, talk, I bet we could talk we could talk till all morning, till dawn, dawn light and the sun rises on, whatever, all universal cool things. I'd be asking about frequencies and blah, blah, blah. Look, my point is that, we all mourn these great dudes, all these great men who came because they were so loving. With their life, they chose to give. Just like I do. What, you don't think after an 8-year degree and I'm not in a wheelchair, I can speak pretty well, I can read and write and blah, blah, blah. I can even, this is the hardest part, bitch out a bit and conform and listen to orders. Barely. For a few months at the least I could. I don't hold jobs more than 6 months. For this reason. And routines, I don't like routines. But look, my point is, after 8 years and I'm educated, blah, 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 I can get a job, guys. I could probably even get a job in IT, information technology, which is what I studied. Programming. I did computer programming and business degree. So, I mean, I'm not the stupidest straw in the haystack. But I'm here instead giving. And, just giving and giving for 7 years now. And I thought, how long can I do this? At some point, I'm at the point where I'm, I've been at the point for several years where I've gotten to the point where I'm like, look, I'm not happy with the amount of nutrition going into me at times. I've had a lot of fasting to keep consciousazine online. And you guys know that I'm all about nutrition and food plants and stuff. So I know what I'm doing. It's not just my lack of knowledge, it's my lack of energy, or the energy that's coming into me. And slowly that means less and less as my knowledge gets higher and more broad of what plants I can eat just walking down the street or whatever. Because then you can just walk around the whole earth, like grass. I know how to eat grass now. I just need lemons. And I can get nutrition from grass, and it's the only plant known to soak up all of the minerals, over 100. And, that grows everywhere. In every continent, we're going to find grass, maybe not in bloody the Arctic, but, grass is everywhere. So, slowly as my knowledge gets more, it's like the point has faded now, but a few years ago, I got to a point where I was very upset that I was giving out so much energy and not much energy coming into me, donations. And I thought, maybe it's time to quit, and get a normal job and, go back to sleep, basically, and rejoin society, go back to sleep, be comfortable. I just want to sleep and be comfortable again and become unconscious and less conscious. But I decided to persevere, and here I am like 3 years later from that point of being, I was really annoyed and fed up. Consciousazine, I don't know how it's still here because it actually has gone offline twice in the last 3 years, and I had donations like in the nick of time. I'm talking, a couple of days later, and we would not have consciousazine.net anymore. Some people don't like the website because they're jealous and they want to call it trash because it's, hard to follow. It's not like an ordinary website where there's like 5 pages. I've got 50 or 500 pages. Yes, people want less information these days. It's too difficult. Anyway, I almost forgot what I was talking about. It's been a difficult journey, and I could easily go back to sleep. I could easily, get a job, but I give, and so did all these other great men of history. Remember, that's what we're talking about. You'd love to sit down with Nikola Tesla, you'd love to sit down with Einstein, blah, 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 and look, when we have these people alive, I don't even want to name names because then people will be like, oh, you think you're so great, and like if I said myself, for instance. But it's interesting that I have something called consciousazine on the, the mass mind neuronet of the species manifest called the internet. At the end of human history, during the conscious revolution, I have something called consciousazine. During essence concrescence, I have a portmanteau website on consciousness. It's all pretty interesting to me, looking from the sideline as if I were not me. It's like, well, that's interesting. If it was you guys, if it was one of you and I saw, you were me and I saw you, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I would still think the same thing. Oh, he has a website, portmanteau, conscious, and then azine, the end of magazine. Goes with the whole coincidentia oppositorum, essence concrescence at the end of history, the final compression here that we had into 2012. Into Universe 2 of creation from Universe 1 of reaction, pre-2012. And so here we are, and I think my life is going to be, and look, and I'm dejected, I'm rejected, I'm looked down upon, I'm wished away like I'm nothing, or I'm not important, or who is he doesn't matter, and what he's saying doesn't matter. It all amounts to people just continually shooting me, the messenger, because of the intense messages coming through me that can barely be understood by these people because it's so much higher and deeper knowledge than they even used to thinking on the daily. I remember daily life. I had it once. It's been a long time since I had normal life because I actually surf the universe as the energy comes into the universe because I'm a shaman. I see the energy coming into the universe as it comes into the universe. So I surf the concrescence to the eschaton, and I have written all about it in my book, The Eschaton, 2012, which is going to be published soon. And I still surf the concrescence, or I still surf the universe, and right now that's maximum novelty. We've entered maximum novelty domain. The time wave ended in the maximum amount of novelty, not just one plunge for the year or for the month or for the week, but the maximum amount of novelty is what we're in now. If you understand the context I'm talking about, the time wave zero. And it's interesting, you know, we had hortatory preacher after hortatory preacher, and you know, we had Buddha, we had Christ. Still the world is flopped on the seamy side. It's pretty interesting, you know, we ignore all the great men, and this is ego, you know, this is this surface virus, predatory mindset, the flyers, the surface virus, the hive mind, infection of the matrix. That's what that is. It's the compromised mind, you know. It looks upon, you know, people like me and says, oh, they think they're better than me. And this is subconscious. These are subconscious code routines or functions of code that are running in you guys. Not all of you listening to this channel for sure, but many people out there in the world, you know, and most people. And what happens is they run the subconscious code. It's the same. Why is it the same? That gives credence to the organic portal theme in general, that it's always the same, because that's what they are. They're all the same. It's the soul human who is always different and weird and, you know, eccentric and all that. So what's interesting is that, you know, we have these great men come, and they're ignored because the subroutine running in everyone's consciousness, due to them using the compromised mind, is, hey, don't worry about this guy or what he's saying. And you know the 3 stages of truth. That's what, you know, every great man is and goes through, right? First, we're violently opposed. I forgot the 2nd stage. And then the 3rd stage of truth is that it's, you know, finally accepted as self-obviant, as obvious. Not even just accepted, but accepted as, oh, how dumb was I? That was obvious. And you notice truth always passes through those 3 stages, you know, admit it. It always does. You're always like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It's always passing through those 3 stages. So anyway, this is what I see that all the great men have to pass through. And it seems stage 3 of truth, the acceptance of obviation, only happens after their death. It's like the people's ego can't have a go at them anymore. They're dead. You know? It's crazy. But look, it's like my life. I think I'm going to have to preach this like 100 million times over. It seems that my life is like a dedication to this quote of, you know, cherish the living more than you mourn the dead. Because you put me as the President of the United States or the President of Australia, doesn't matter. But you put me in one of these massive leadership positions, compared to what their little things are doing, their policies and stuff, and dragging you forward maybe 1 inch, 1 centimeter, I'd drag you forward an entire universe. I'll drag you so far forward, your head's going to be spinning. And hence why we can't have people like me in control in the positions of power, because the normal average person can't handle that much change or novelty. And you notice they're all going nuts and, you know, going into super neurotic states of confinement, basically. More and more barred windows keep appearing. It's an in-house drive-by, as Rage Against the Machine song sings it well. You're all fucked. You're all mentally ill, really. I don't even want to get into it. you're using this compromised mind, and it'd be a good idea to figure out what it is. But whether 90% of people are, soulless or not, I don't know about the numbers. I just did that video. How many organic portals are there? It's high. It looks high only because people are acting like organic portals. No, not 99% of people are organic portals. It's that 99% are most definitely acting like organic portals. So they may as well be organic portals, Stabilization function, demonic portals, blah, blah, blah. NPC, non-player character. Because you're not saved. I'm saved. I have no worries. I don't need to get a job. I don't need to get a girlfriend, get married. I have no anxiety whatsoever anymore on joining society, on this or that. I'm past those points. That was years ago. There's no anxiety anymore because I know I'm not an NPC. I know I'm a player. I'm a source player, they call it, But as Jesus said it long ago, and I'm not a religious person, but he said, you get saved. And I thought, oh yeah, like a game where you save the high score. An NPC doesn't even get to play the game. Do you understand? They are the game. It's the whole idea about non-player character theory. So I have no anxiety anymore because I know I'm saved. And look, you'll get confirmation spiritually. I'm not going to talk about that now. If you want me to make a video on that, okay, comment. But yeah, I know I'm saved now, so there's no anxiety to do anything more. I also know history has ended. So, unless you're giving me a solar panel renewable job, there's not much for me to do anymore. I understand what's going on with the corporations. The corporation is an entity trying to seek sentience. Haven't heard anyone really say that before, but that's generally what they're doing, and it's an organic portal sort of setup, a corporation. It's a soulless entity trying to seek sentience. Anyway, look, my point is that in the end, we should cherish the ones who are alive, who can make the change, instead of complaining. And then it's like, that's the compromised mind again. It'll complain about, oh, well, Tesla, he could have brought us this, he could have brought us that. But then if there's someone alive like that today who's like, another Tesla out there, I don't know, there might be. But say there is, Tesla number 2. You can be assured, 100% assured, he's not going to be the president when he should be. Imagine how far forward he would drag us, all of humanity right now, if we had Tesla alive, just Nikola, just for one example. I just use him in this example because he was a good dude. I can see who he was, And I thought it was very sad. Very sad. Because that guy, he just gave and gave, and then he ended up just sitting there. And even though he didn't know about organic portal theme, he sure as hell felt it, They talk about he went crazy. No, he went fed up. He went, I'm done. I can't handle these fucking idiots anymore. I'm going to sit with the pigeons, and I'm going to feed the pigeons, and I'm not going to think anymore. Because it's too painful to think how stupid these people are. That's how his life ended. That's really sad to me, because I could easily go that same way. I feel like I'm going the same way. I've got this irresistible call to go further and further into nature, further and further away from you all. So don't expect, in 10 years from now that you'll be able to contact me. I have my doubts. I really do. I have my doubts. I have a feeling I'll be like in the Amazon jungle, untouchable or something by then. I don't know where I'll be, but it feels to me like I'm just going to get more and more sick of trying. I know I have a video series that I'm going to produce, can you wake up organic portals? I really think the answer is no, but that whole series is going to serve a purpose of a possible path to ensouling or inspiriting. Is there a way to invigorate spirit, or is there a universal fulcrum for this, or what I mean? We're going to explore those ideas. That doesn't mean I think you can wake up organic portals. I'm just entertaining the idea for some reason, and that reason, it turns out, is to see if there is a path of ensouling or something like this, just to dig around, really. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video to say, cherish the living more than you mourn the dead. And I'm not even going to mention the D word, D to me, donate to me, because then people are just going to say, oh, this video is all about that. But I think, every soul out there can hear my tone in this video, and that I'm just sheer pissed off. It's just sheer annoyance. I'm just sheerly annoyed, It's annoying. Like, we've got the organic portals in power positions, which is the opposite way of how it should be. They are the simples. They're not the complex concrescent. The complex concrescent human is the concrescence. It's the one that's meant to be where it is as a concrescence. What is a concrescence? It's like a higher form, so it should be in the higher position. You don't put an organic portal in charge. You know what I mean? And this is like, I don't want to say all the presidents are organic portals, but some of them are robotic portals. Actually, a lot of them are robotic portals. Presidents of all the countries around the world, many of them, they're robotic portals. And that's not a robotoid, by the way. There's a differentiation there. And, basically we do have organic portals in leadership positions, and no wonder the world doesn't move. Don't you notice we don't move forward? If you call progress the iteration of the iPhone, you've got serious issues of, you're seriously asleep. You seriously can't see. If you think progress is like the iteration of the iPhone or something, That's not progress. A Ferrari is, 1/10 of the way to the starship. It's nothing. People are living in poverty on Earth, thinking that they have something. Oh, I got my car, I got my house, oh, thank God. See, everybody subconsciously knows that it's like hell on Earth right now, and that it's some sort of energy-sucking system. Because everybody, even the dumb sleep people, are just happy to have their little home, their little neurotic square. Oh, so you got like a 50 square foot by 50 square foot home, or whatever you've got, 100 square foot, whatever. That's all minuscule. Do you know how large the Earth actually is? That's why I love being homeless, or, as I call it, home full, because everywhere's my home. You know how they say home is where the heart is? I can pull up in any bit of bush, I'll go for the good energy. Like, I can feel the different energy in the bush. There might be a whole segment of plants which have a better energy, and that's where I'll make my camp, or wherever, I can feel the difference. But the point is that, home is where the heart is, and when people say I'm homeless, no, I really don't see it like that. I feel like I've inherited the earth. I feel very much liberated in my state, and I see the society cage, and it's literal. You have cages around your houses called fences. Or just because it's not over your head and it's only around the sides, this is compromised mind. You can't even see. It's a cage. You've got literal bars on your house because you're a human prison bar, and it shows. And it's exactly the same as how I made a quote: their minds are as empty as their empty lawns, because your lawns are empty. You're not even eating that grass. It should have food plants. You wouldn't have to go to work, because you'd have the food that you go to work to get. straight there in the morning. You'd wake up and you'd eat your fruit, you'd eat your mango off the tree and be happy till lunch, you know. And then you go pick out something else for lunch. You wouldn't be going to work though. So I mean, it's interesting what we have. We have, you know, there's so much pain in the world that people don't want to admit their pain, and the compromised mind is so prevalent in the world that you know, people take that as you know, normal mindset, but it's not. There's something wrong there. It's a virus, or something's off. It's, you know, it's rotten. You know, the compromised mind. But people take that as the normal mind. You know, people actually think that predatory flyer mind is their mind. Anyway, this whole video was more about, you know, this whole cherish the living more than you mourn the dead. If there's someone out there like me who can give you epiphanies, give you progression, I don't want to say you should laud them, because you damn well laud the presidents and the Queen and this and that. I don't want to say you should laud them like all the fake stars. They're not real stars. They're not doing great work. None of the people in the movies of the blockbusters. That's not great work. That's not what great work looks like. They're doing the work of other people. They may as well just go to work in a corporation. They're just getting paid better. But they're fake stars. The real stars are people like me, who are channeling the stars' energies, because I am the universe, and the universe is coming through me. So, look, I wanted to say, cherish the living, because they're alive now, you dummy, because they're here now. Not tomorrow, not in 2 seconds even, not in 10 years. You don't get to read their book after they're dead. You can talk to them now. You can be under my video and you can comment. You can ask me. After I'm dead, you can't ask me. I can't ask Terence McKenna certain things I want to ask him about the time wave anymore. He's gone. Well, I can in the higher realms, but let's not get into that. And I do. But you know what I mean. Most people are very physical, material based, and you're going to ask with a little mouth noise from your anthropoid body to another anthropoid body a question via, you know, the airwaves coming out of your mouth. And that's what I'm talking about. You can't ask someone a question after they're dead. You can't enjoy them properly. It's just going to be a lingering sadness, you know. That's terrible. What a shitty way to be. So, you know, cherish the living more than you mourn the dead. Because people are doing the opposite. They're mourning the dead more than they're cherishing the living. And so the universe is a complexity creating and conserving machine. What this means is that, yeah, okay, we had Nikola, and these people are all complexity knots, Terence, Einstein, whoever. But they're all the indigos of history. They're all the great men. They're all complexity knots, you know. But the point is, as complex as they were, the next, you know, what I call metaphysical baton holder, like a baton race, you pass the baton at the 200-meter mark. That's what we're like. We're keepers of the flame and we're passing the baton. And everyone else is an NPC sitting on the sideline of the field watching us run, you see. So my point is, in a complexity conserving universe like we're in, it makes sense to cherish the living because it's now, and now is the latest iteration. You know, who wants to use iPhone 1.5 when you've now got iPhone 10? You know what I mean? For certain reasons, yes, like you might not want to be tracked or whatever. You might use an old Nokia or something. But you get what I mean, right? You're going to want to go with the latest iteration because it's more exciting, and in the context I'm talking about, it's got, you know, maybe a more current information or a more pertinent information And that's for you, for your spiritual progress. And all progress is only spiritual. Progress has got nothing to do with materialistic besides you learning. It's not that you had a very progressive life because at the end of your life you finally saved $1 million, you got your Ferrari and you got your house and your wife or whatever. That's not progress. That's this materialistic, societal, compromised viewpoint of what progress is, because they're spiritually dead. The organic portal people, they're not alive, remember? So they don't have progress. There's no inner progress. They don't exist. They are not there as a person like you think they are. They're a shell. They're empty. They're a surface. Matter is not spirit. Spirit is like inside matter, So yeah, cherish the living more than you mourn the dead. I mean, there's other reasons, but I think the pertinent reason is a big one.